At the beginning of this story, we are shown Jay Bahadur, who is a magazine writer. Jay's dream is to become a big journalist, but without a graduation degree, applying for journalism is very difficult for him. Jay Bahadur often writes articles on topics that most people do not pay much attention to. But no one reads his stories, and he keeps getting rejected everywhere. Some magazine companies even send him letters just to tell him that they did not like his work. Jay becomes very angry at this kind of response because they are publishing news from all over the world, but not even a single one of his stories. One day, Jay is cleaning the snow lying outside his house. Due to slipping on the ice, his neck gets injured. Jay goes to the hospital for treatment, and there he notices an old man sitting beside him. Both of them start discussing their illnesses, and during the conversation, that man tells Jay his name is Seymour Tolbin. After some time, Jay realizes that he is a very famous journalist whom he considers his idol. Jay feels extremely happy after meeting him. Jay tells him that currently he writes small articles for magazines, and that his dream is to become a very big journalist. He tells him that he wants to take admission to Harvard College for his degree, and only after that will newspapers hire him. Hearing this, Seymour tells him what is the need for a degree in journalism. He says you can do journalism even without it. You just need to go to places where even big people start sweating before going. Jay discusses this idea with his friend and decides that he will go to Somalia. His friend tells him that reporting there will get him nothing, and if he really wants to do something there, then he should interview terrorists. But that job is not free of danger because they do not think even once before killing reporters. The next day, we see news showing Somali pirates because they have looted a commercial ship and taken people hostage. Seeing all this, Jay gets a little scared. One day, Jay receives a call from an unknown number. The man says he is calling from the Somali press. When he finds out that Jay wants to write a book about their people, he becomes very happy because Jay is the first foreigner to do so. Here, Jay Bahadur finds out that the man he was talking to is not an ordinary person, but the son of the president of Somalia. Jay cannot believe that he is talking to the president's son. How can a president's son talk to him so easily? Jay tells all this to Seymour, after which Seymour tells him to learn the Somali language, which will be very useful for him later. But now the biggest difficulty for Jay is to take permission from his family to go to Somalia. He is a little scared of them, but the good thing is that they do not refuse him. After this, Jay Bahadur leaves for Somalia. He only wants to know whether the people there are really the way they are shown in American movies. When he reaches Somalia, a Somali man comes and sits next to him. Jay sleeps for a while, and when he wakes up, he looks outside the window and sees a reporter being shot by some Somali pirates. Seeing this, Jay starts screaming loudly and sees dead bodies around him, of people killed by Somali pirates, with news of their deaths in their hands. But soon Jay Bahadur realizes that all of this was just a bad dream. Outside the airport, a Somali translator named Abdi comes to pick him up, who knows the English language. While talking, Jay shows him a thumbs-up sign. But Abdi explains that giving a thumbs-up is a wrong gesture here, for which one can even be sent to jail. Abdi asks him whom he has come here to write about. When Jay tells him that he has come to write about sea pirates, Abdi explains that they do not call themselves pirates. They call themselves guardians of the sea, and they have a lot of money. On the way, a soldier hits Jay on the head and tells him to stop the car because he wants drugs. Actually, drugs are called khat in Somalia, and Jay finds out for the first time that drugs are sold like vegetables there. Abdi tells him that this is a very big loss for their country, but their new president will soon find a solution. The soldier also asks Jay to take drugs. Jay first refuses, but due to compulsion, he has to take them. After this, they go to the president's daughter, who runs a newsroom in the city. Her thinking is very different from the people of Somalia. She believes that Somali pirates are truly bad and are destroying the image of her country in front of the whole world. And because of them, many countries have even broken contacts with them. She tells Jay that she is trying her best to make an agreement with a pirate leader named Boya, but it is not easy. The people of Somalia consider him Robin Hood, who helps the poor and gives them food. But his reality is known only to them. After this, she introduces Jay to her father, the president of Somalia. The president and his family have been living in Australia for the past 8 years, but the people of Somalia requested them to return so that they could improve the country's condition. The president asks Jay whether he saw even a single school while coming here. Jay says no, he did not see a single school. The president says the biggest reason for this is that children here consider pirates their role models, who loot ships, not educated people like him. He asks Jay what he has named his book. Jay has not thought about it yet. He suggests Pirates of Somalia, but the president does not like that name. After this, we see that full security arrangements are made for Jay. They even provide him with internet, which very few people have in Somalia. Jay's room is completely locked. He is not even allowed to open the window because his life could be in danger. Jay sleeps there at night, and the next morning when he wakes up, the room is very dark. Although he was told not to open the window, he still opens it and looks outside. While Jay is recording the people, he sees a girl who keeps looking at him again and again. Abby tells him that her name is Miriam, and she is Garrett's wife. Garrett is a very big sea pirate and has married many women who sell cod for him. Jay wants to interview him, but Abby tells him that Garrett is very dangerous, so it is better not to think about meeting him. Abby then tells Jay that they have found Boya, and today they're going to meet him. Jay can ask as many questions as he wants. They go to meet Boya. Jay requests that if someone shoots him, his body should be sent back to his country. Abby tells him not to worry, nothing will happen. Jay asks Boya many questions, how they loot ships, how he convinces his people to do this, and much more. But Jay realizes from the interview that Boya is not ready to accept that he is doing anything wrong. While Jay is taking the interview, Boya suddenly leaves because he wants drugs from Jay, which Jay did not bring because he did not know he would have to give drugs in exchange for the interview. Jay writes something in his book every day, and at the same time, a girl named April in his country looks for a publisher for his book. One day, while working on his book, Jay sees Miriam again and follows her without saying anything. He asks her about Garrett and finds out that Miriam can speak English, which she learned by watching American movies. Jay asks her about American films. Miriam tells him that she hates the way Americans make movies about Somali people because they only show them as looters and never talk about ordinary people. She tells Jay that people here talk only about him and hope that he will write something that this country needs, not what the world wants to hear. Jay buys some cot for her, and in return, he gets another chance to meet Boya. This time, he keeps asking questions while drunk, and Boya's answers are recorded on his tape recorder. 3 months pass like this in Somalia, and Jay writes a lot. One day, April video calls him and tells him that she showed his book to big publishers, but no one is interested. They say if he sends pirate videos, they can pay up to $1,000, but expecting more help would be foolish. Hearing this, Jay gets very angry and starts shouting at himself. Late at night, he goes to Abdi and tells him the truth, that he is not a famous reporter and does not have any book contract. Abdi says that it does not matter. He is the first foreigner who came here and risked his life to write about them. That is enough for them. Jay explains how bad the situation is because no one is interested in his book. They only want spicy stories like looting and murder. No one wants to hear about ordinary people. If he does not get a book contract, he may never be able to leave the country. Jay says he needs hostage video footage to sell and earn some money because the money he brought from home is finished. He even offers Abdi half the money. He wants the world not to know Somalia only because of pirates. They want an identity so they can walk with their heads held high. Abdi explains that going to the pirates is risking their lives, and after that, they will not be able to provide him security. But Jay tells him not to worry. He wants to meet Garrett. He needs a translator, and Abdi can arrange the meeting for a short time. This may be Jay's last chance to do something big. So he meets Miriam and asks about Garrett. She tells him she has not seen him for months, but advises him to compliment Garrett's clothes because he is very proud of his dressing. Jay goes to interview Garrett. This interview is the most difficult because after every word, it feels like Garrett might shoot him. Somehow, Jay completes the interview and learns that Garrett has more than 800 hijackers working for him. Jay works hard to complete his book. One day, Abdi tells him that a German ship is leaving, and the president has good connections with its pilot. This is the best chance to leave. Jay now has enough material and wants to go home. Abdi tells him that the president's son has demanded $500 for security and hospitality. Jay says he has no money left because he spent everything on drugs. He promises to send money after his book is published. They leave for another city. Jay meets some Somali people who tell him their stories and want him to write about them. A woman tells him about schools that were destroyed by floods and never rebuilt. They ask Jay what he has named his book, but he still has not decided. The next day, they go to the pirates. They talk very warmly with Abdi and even hug him, but they are not ready to take Jay with them. Jay knows that if he records them, news agencies will pay him $1,000. So without thinking, he comes in front of them. The atmosphere becomes tense, and 5 to 6 people point guns at his head. But his luck is good that they do not shoot him. The pirates tell them to come again the next morning. When Jay looks around, he sees that the pirates have left him alone and gone away because they thought he was a spy. Jay's book is now complete, but he needs money to get out of there. One day, Jay receives a call from his dad. He is very worried because between 8th and April 12th, some Somali pirates try to hijack an American ship, and the ship's captain was Richard Phillips. The president's son says that Captain Phillips and his entire crew have been rescued safely. However, 3 pirates were killed and 1 was arrested. Because of this, there's a lot of chaos in the country. He tells Jay that the pirates have warned America that if they see any foreigner in their country, they will kill them. This means that Jay's life is now in danger. They want to send Jay back to his country safely at any cost. The best thing for Jay is that his family has sent money to his account. Jay says that if Boya is behind the hijacking of Captain Phillips, then he wants to take his interview one last time. But roaming on the streets is very dangerous. Still, somehow, he manages to take Boya's 3rd and final interview. But he finds out that Boya was not involved in this hijacking. Boya tells him to talk to Miriam once. She will definitely know about it. Jay goes out to look for Miriam in the local market, but he cannot find her anywhere. Suddenly, some soldiers spot him and start chasing him, but Jay manages to escape. When he returns, he finds out that the Somali government has arrested Boya, even though he had not done anything. When Jay goes to his room, he sees Miriam there. She tells him that all of this was done by her husband, Garrett. Miriam tells Jay to leave this place as soon as possible because this country is no longer safe for him. Saying this, she leaves, and Jay keeps watching her smiling through his window. The next day, Jay sees in the news that Garrett has killed some Americans to take revenge for his people. He also claims that he was behind the hijacking of Captain Phillips. On the other hand, Jay is safely leaving Somalia. He thanks all the people who helped him complete his book and also those because of whom he is alive today. Abi shows a thumbs up sign and says, "Okay," and here Jay realizes that showing a thumb is not a wrong sign in Somalia. Abi was just joking with him. After that, Jay leaves for his country. When he comes into a network area, he sees that he has received more than 200 messages. Out of these, 165 messages are from news channels that want to buy his interview with Garrett, and 8 messages are from book publishers who want to publish his book. They are ready to pay him as much money as he asks, because at that time, there was a lot of tension between America and Somali pirates. The pirates used to loot every ship. When Jay finally returns home, he receives a grand welcome because the book he wrote had become an internationally best-selling book. That is why, in 2013, he got the opportunity to sit with the CIA. Actually, they wanted to know a lot about Somalia from him, because after that, no American had gone there who could tell them the inside reality. Jay tells them that the people of Somalia do not want to make Americans bow down in front of them. They just want an identity. They want the world to recognize their culture. With this, the movie based on this true story comes to an end. Which movie story would you like to hear next? Do tell me in the comments below because I read your comments, and thank you very much for your lovely comments.